Evening, everyone. It's Thursday evening at 5:40. Excuse me. This is your closing comment. It's video number 624, and as always, I remind you to please hit that like button and hit the subscribe. Costs nothing, but it definitely helps support us. Okay, so the conspicuous consumption stock of the day is Canada Goose, GOOS, who shows us that clearly $900 jackets are all the vogue in the US and Canada. And of course, even though there hasn't been much in the way of cross border travel, Canada Goose has increased their access to China through online. So the stock today closed 43.40 after the beat, up $8.23, which is a 23% move, but puts it nowhere near its high of 72. So it's still got a long way to go. As far as the market goes, new record highs all around. Of course, not in the transports, but that's the transports. The Dow was up 332 and a quarter, or 1.08%. Nasdaq was up 167.20, 1.23%, and the S&P and the Russell were up almost identical amounts, but twice as strong with the Russell because it's half the price. S&P was up 41.67, or 1.09. Russell was up 42.71, which is 1.98. And the lowly transports, of course, up 180.15, or 1.4%, and still not even close to making up that 900-point drop that it had last week. As far as commodities go, the chart on the screen is the nat gas, which I pointed out has started to move in these 6 to 8 day waves. 4 waves on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, a top, 4 waves on the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we are turning back up, 1, 2, and if you notice, it's been 6 or 7 days from the low here at 242 to the high on Monday, 7 trading days later at 300.5. So I'd like to see this move a little higher, but $3, besides being a round number, is a bit overbought here, but you never can tell. The oil was up again, up 54 cents. The gold was devastatingly weak, as was the silver, but not the platinum. Gold down $44. No real reason that I can see, but it broke through another round number here, which was very disappointing. This is 1800. We got all the way down to 1784. So we're getting back into this bottoming area that we had here in the end of November, that once we got it started in the right direction, or the up direction, if you're not a bull, up is not good. We moved from down here at 1767 in 5 or 6 days up to 1875, consolidated, and then had another run from 1840 or so all the way up here to 1952. So we'll have to see how this shakes out, but the silver and the platinum don't look anything like this. The silver was down $0.50 today, which is not overwhelming, and it's just back to support. And as you can see, this chart definitely leans to the upside, whereas the gold is somewhat questionable. This one made a new recovery high. The gold did not. So I'm a little bit more bullish of the silver than the gold, clearly. But more importantly, I want to show you the platinum, which has outperformed dramatically. And today it was barely down $11 after being, let's see, the low was 1084. It closed at 1103, down 11 and a half. Doesn't look anything like the gold. So this is definitely the one that I like the most. And we also have a position in a little stock symbol of which is PLG, which is Platinum Group. And you have to also remember that platinum mining also produces some gold, also produces some silver, even produces some copper. So the platinum PLG is good for an overall move, as opposed to, let's say, the ETF GLD, which is solely gold. So there you go. That's my attitude about it. I still like this better. PLG is still only a $4.20 or $4.30 stock, and I strongly recommend it. Bitcoin closed about mid-range today, 37,915, up 5.25 after being as low as 36 and low change, and as high as 39,200. The dollar was a little bit stronger again today. It closed 91.52, and that was up 37 cents. And the bonds, which we are short here using the TBT calls, bonds down, rates higher. This was kind of interesting because, as you can see, the 30-year was down, the 10-year was up, and the 5-year was up. So we're getting a pretty nice yield curve here. And here's what the bonds look like. They broke down 4 days ago, and today they broke below. This was 167.11, I believe. Yep, 167.11. And today's low was 167.02. So we are breaking down. We'll have to see if this carries through or not, but I'll make this a little bigger so you can see it. It closed about 2/3 up on the range, but still down on the day. So we'll have to see whether we bounce back up here, up above this 168, or whether we continue down or go sideways tomorrow. All right, so earnings, plenty of earnings news. Activision Blizzard had closed 92.68, up 8 cents. After the beat, the stock traded 98, and the last was 97.71, up 4.94, 5.3%. Deckers, maker of Uggs, and uses Tom Brady as a spokesperson and model, 316.88, up 7, and then after the earnings, 325, up 15.43, or another 5%. Ford was not great, but they had a couple of good announcements today talking about they were closing down their F-150 line because of a shortage of chips, but that will only be for a week. The stock was 11.37, up 17. And then after the close, they also talked about their commitment to electric vehicles. And even with neither here nor there kind of earnings, the stock was up a little further, 11.45, up a quarter, 2.1%. Peloton was a disaster. They beat. I guess they didn't make expectations. The stock, which had closed 157.53, up $10, immediately turned tail and went down $15 to 142 and change. Last I have is 144.93. That's down $2.35. So that down $2.35 is not too dramatic, unless you decide that it's $13 off the high and just off the low. Pinterest, also a great beat, had closed 77.84, up 70 cents. After the earnings, it turned up to 88.38. Last is 84.20, up 6.86 or 8.9%. Unum, which is a little company that we own in the stocks for total return because it pays a healthy dividend, closed at 24.69, up 63 cents. I didn't even see the numbers, but the stock was back to 24 and a quarter, up 19 cents or 0.79%. This one doesn't concern me at all because it's not the kind of stock that I would really expect major moves in. And Snap, also down a little on the day before the earnings, 58.31, down 95. The earnings came out and it immediately went down $9 to 49.80. Last I have is 52.74, down 6.54, or 11%. But this stock has basically doubled in the last 6 weeks, so that's really not much of a pullback. And the issue here is the upgrade on Apple's iOS system is going to somewhat impede Snap's ability to very sharply target specific groups, very narrowly target. So I'm sure that they'll deal with that, and it'll take a little while, but nothing overwhelming. All right, everyone, there you go. You're all up to date. I'll be back first thing in the morning. Tomorrow we have the big employment number for last month, and it's due up only 50,000 is the estimate that I heard, which is really setting kind of a low bar. So I'll be back in the morning. Have a good evening, and don't forget to subscribe.